So we've got ourselves some brand new future stars and also future star icons. Mixed with plenty of evolutions, we are going to get our Youth Academy player, the Future Star Academy icon, on Monday, which is going to be fantastic to see everybody's fully fledged double play star plus icon chemistry player, which is not too bad. I'll absolutely take it. But we have got some very good players. We've got some more top meta potentials, very usable, and also potential evos in the future. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with El Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. We also did get the evolutions of the Star Power 1 and 2, mixing the difference between a Quick Step Plus and a Long Ball Plus, meaning you could get at least a semi-decent upgrade for some of them not so meta players. And this is exactly why we have some of them in the Evos. So when we do look at the kind of the star boys from the first two Team 2 Future Stars, we've got Ahmad and also Barcola. Now, both of them coming in at a pretty, I say, hefty price, to be honest. 1.3 for Ahmad and 2.7 for Barcola. Both of them not having that 5-5, unfortunately, but the difference between a power shot finesse and incisive and rapid. Definitely Ahmad's going to suit more into that cam role with that different double play style plus, and Barcola's going to be a fantastic winger, which we have got a lot of options from. The question is, are they both in that top meta? I think when we look at the kind of difference now of what I consider absolutely up there with the best of them, I think they're both in very, very top end forms. I think Ahmad is going to be more very usable, if I'm being really honest, because you got to think in this top meta now, we're looking at Team of the Years, we're looking at the best of the best. Does he come up against a Team of the Year Salah, a Hansen, a icon Team of the Year winger if we've got them? And when you kind of go into each position now, we're kind of looking across this list. We've obviously got the Hansens, the Vinnies, the Smiths, the Rodri in a CDM. Is he going to really kind of go up against them? And when we look at right wing being more specific, you have got the Team of the Year Blueprint evolution that we got. That one was incredible in itself. So when we look at the top here, we got Salah, Hansen. James was definitely up there with the best of them. And then you've got the likes of kind of coming down. Palmer, more of a cam realistically. You've got Yamal, who was an incredible upgrade, but to be honest, his blueprint was probably better than that card. We then have the Messis, the Hansens again. Endrick can obviously play there. Foden, even though he's more cam. That's where you've kind of got to decide. Now, when it comes to left wing, I think there is still a very crazy amount of option you can go with. You're obviously looking at your Neymars, you're looking at your Ronaldinhos, and then even further down, your Vinny. You got Vinny, Mbappe can play that position, Rita's obviously there as well. CR7 not as much. I think Mbappe can get away with left wing, whereas CR7 is definitely more of a striker. You obviously got Yamal can play there as well, Grimaldo, plenty of Vinnies and Henrys and all of that good stuff. So I think when we look at kind of the top end of them two, I would probably say, because realistically we're going to be mixing in the other two star boys in obviously Yamal from Team 1 and then also Endrick. Now, looking at all of them, they've all got relatively decent playstyle pluses. Yamal's probably the worst one out of them, to be honest, and that's personally for me. I'm not a big fan of technical. The Travella I can kind of get on board with, but the power shot finesse is going to be better shooting. I would say, to be honest, they probably are all in that top meta. Realistically, like, when we think of the cam rolls, like, Ahmad's going to do really well with that. He's got the incisive. He's got a power shot. He's one away from being like an incredible cam. If he had some sort of quick step, if he had some sort of other passing or shooting, he's going to be absolutely wonderful in that role. I think Barcola is probably one of my favorites here, to be honest. Endrick is another fan favorite when it comes to a tricky striker. Potentially even put him out wing. I think he could still do the business in like a a 4-3-2-1, for instance. If you're looking at that right forward, that's how you'd play the left and right wing. A 4-3-3, whether they're an inside forward, they're coming in close and getting the shots off as well with that power shot. They are all going to do incredible in that role. Kind of looking through the rest of them then, because this is where we get to a lot of the Evos, realistically. When we look at kind of the top end, they are top for a reason. Then you've then got a few nice cards that are pretty usable. Finesse shot with the tiki-taka, kind of looking more towards Cam. We've got, obviously, Pavlovic? Hopefully going that right. 590, very good CDM. Passing playstyle plus, intercept playstyle plus, mixed in with then some very good CDM traits. It's a very, very good card. Another, Caicedo being left wing. Fantastic. With a quick step technical, 5-4, great stats ability. João Neves as well. Another great centre mid potential. He's got that passing ability down to a T. So I think when we're looking at it, we're kind of going very usable. I'd go usable for Fowler. We'd then go Pavlovic, I'm hopefully saying that right. He'll go into more of a very usable sense. And we've got some that kind of do go into them Evos. When we look a bit further down, you've obviously got quite a few that are in that cheaper value, but to be fair, one Evo away, and they do pretty well. We saw with the Star Power evolution, it works really well to get a card like, for instance, with Santos. If we was to put him into the Star Power 2, in terms of a card, it's a solid upgrade. 88 on the pace, obviously the upgrades. 1 pace, 1 shooting, 4 passing, 2 dribbling, 3 physical, and a defensive overall. It definitely turns him from like that 13,000 coin card into at least like a 40-50 at the minimum. So you've got some kind of ability potential. There's some that are not really worth the upgrade, in my opinion, like when we get a perfect upgrade for them. Someone like Cresswell, it's a solid playstyle plus to start with. There's an ability there. If he got an anticipate, he got an intercept, a block, that's going to be a nice base to have already. Same with obviously our Paula. Very nice card with the intercept. Add a different playstyle plus on it as well, like we're seeing with a lot of these double playstyle pluses. We've got yourselves a nice card. Bakayoko, another one that could be there. Morelio, I think, could potentially do with an Evo, but he could still be usable in that sense as well. We obviously have the brand new Man City centre-back also onto here. He's going to come in, I'm pretty sure he's, it was under 100k, but a potential. I think an Evo would sort him out quite well. I think at the moment, you could possibly look at least, I'd say at least usable. Good pace, good defending, physical. Obviously, the composure side of stuff is at a high level as well. Agility balance is up there with a bit of passing. If he kind of had like that 70 composure, the 80 composure we saw on previous Future Star promos, might be more in towards waiting for an Evo, but I think he's good enough. We obviously have a goalkeeper, not really going to be going for that, to be honest. And then we've got kind of the remaining chilling ones, really. You've obviously got the Bournemouth left back, comes in with some lovely playstyle plus, very, very usable for his card. We've got the Barcelona centre-back with the long ball pass. It's not my fan favourite, to be honest, on a centre-back, but it works. It's still usable to a very good extent. Obviously, the composure side of him, the defending, very, very nice. And then obviously the right wing as well. Coming in at 28,000, realistically going to look for some sort of Evo in the future. Maybe could get usable, I'd say, if I'm being really kind of tight with that. The left back, I'd say more usable at this point. We've got a lot of left backs, which kind of moves us on to the icons, which again, we've got an abundance of top ones now. Cruyff, Butra, Bobby. We obviously then had the brand new Eto'o coming into it, and there's still some cheaper ones. You've obviously got Alan Shearer at 450. You got a brand new Czech at 240, and even then we look at Figo, who I personally really like as a card. 320, always got the ability in the cam. They've just kind of killed him off a little bit with them playstyle pluses. But it's a pretty obvious one with a lot of these. You've obviously got the Cruyffs, the Eto'os. They are meant to be in this top meta. Like, that is kind of what they're there for. They're incredible prices and they work really well. I still think Yashin is one of the better goalkeepers you can get. Rio, obviously, with his aerial anticipate, unreal. Butra is obviously going to be up there. And then when we look at the likes of Czech, I'd go Czech as very usable. I don't normally mind him as a keeper. Some people really like him, some people don't. It's a very hot and cold when it comes to goalkeepers. You could argue for and against, to be honest. When we look at the rest of them, I think Xabi Alonso would be more very usable. I think with Figo, I mean, you could get a lot out of him. I think anybody could get so much out of him in general because his stats are definitely there. it's just a playstyle plus. I think you can definitely very usable for him, but I think you could get better out of other players. If I'm being honest, it's mainly his ability on the ball that I think would work really well. I do think Alan Shearer puts himself at the moment in a solid scenario. 5-star, 4-star, finesse with the aerial. It's a very, very nice complementary playstyle pluses for him. Same with Bobby Moore as well. 80 on the pace. As a centre-back goes, I mean, he's got the playstyle pluses. I just think he, again, will run his course very quickly. Lotta will go in there also. Nesta will. To be fair, even the Lampard upgrade is, again, fantastic. And this was the problem with Lampard's original card. Having that on his day, it just now looks awful. Like, as an SBC, I know he was cheap. It was very affordable. You could have had a few Evos from him. But looking at this 90 now, incisive and power shot over a relentless, it really makes them icon cards not worth the SBCs. And it's why whenever I do look at icon SBCs, you've got to think of the future. You may have had a few matches with him, but this card is 10 times the player. Better playstyle pluses, better card in general, and it is such a shame that they gave us such a shoddy icon SBC from him. And then we've got Larson. The chip shot is what it is. I mean, again, you could get a bit out of him, but I'm going to be a bit more blunt with him. I think, especially with Shearer's aerial and finesse combo, it's only the quick step that's really there for him. The chip shot, no one's using chip shots that much anymore. We do have a few SBCs, obviously, in Pirlo, Van Persie, and Best. I think Best has got to go into the topper category. I think he's a wonderful cam, as well as then being a potential right wing. All depends on what you're fancying for him. I think with the incisive, he's got to be brought into the middle that little bit more, because as an incisive player, it's going to have a very nice impact on being able to feed them balls through. But he is also very, very quick. When we look at the SBCs for the likes of Pirlo and Van Persie coming in at 700, little bit expensive now, especially with some of the cards we've got, but still a very, very good striker. And Pirlo's fantastic in that middle. It is a shame he didn't get the incisives. I think that could have really pushed him into a topper category, but without it, it's a bit of a struggle. And then pretty much from there, we've kind of got the weak ones, really. It's kind of just a few players that we've got from the original listing. So, to be honest, they've not really moved too much, to be fair. We've obviously got a price update. Sesko's now down at 370. We've obviously got the Dortmund lad coming in at 2.5 still. Endrick's dropped a massive amount. And we also have 3.3 for Yamal now. So, there is a lot of price points where I'm like, I could kind of see it coming. And obviously, some of these could have gone into evolutions as well. Yoro in himself coming in at 700. I think phenomenal centre-back. He's going to be going into that very useful 100%. I'd go with the Dortmund lad in the top meta in that left-hand side as well. Sesko would go into a very usable state as also. I think Lucas wouldn't be far behind him. And even then, same with Lavia. The rest of them, to be honest, it's going to be a mixture of Evos. It's going to be a mixture of misses. Turland is definitely coming in as one of the better options from that star power. Add in the quick step and already having the finesse is an absolute dream. Yildiz would still go into the usable side, and then same with a few of the SBCs. They're solid enough. Some of them are missable, in my opinion. Obviously, Ivan, very nice card, could do with that Evo, but it's a potential that you might have missed if you wanted to go for somebody else. Bergevall would be in there. I'd say Alex could go into the Evo as well. I think Rogers is actually a solid SBC. He's got a wonderful upgrade. And if you are building a Villa, an England team, he's another card that's coming in cheap enough that you might as well go for the option. Now, there is two different versions. Personally, I do prefer the finesse and pinged pass rather than the technical. But that's personally me, if anything. And the fact that I can get a little bit more on that dribbling anyway and add just a hunter, still has that position available for him. So I personally would go with him as at least a solid usable left mid, maybe even very usable to some extent, but we'll keep him down there for the moment. We'll then go Evo for this boy, and then we've got a few more. João Gomez, I think, is unreal with an Evo. He's in the Curl It In, I think it is. It's just taking a card that's literally 60,000 coins, you whack a little Evo on him, you go with a Curl It In, and look at the stats. Like, that's a fantastic card upgrade. He's already got the Intercept and Bruiser playstyle plus, 5-star, 4-star as well. That's a solid card if I've seen one. And especially with that Evo, it's free. You might as well go for it. If you've got him, definitely would say is worth it. I think Larson, again, could do with the Evo, if I'm being honest. It's an absolute must for him. And then when we come to the rest of them, we've got a nice CDM in the usable side of it. I do think she's definitely got some ability. Taylor, as much as he's got the incisive, I like. The relentless is okay, it's good enough, but needs a little bit more going for him. I think we'd be looking more towards a usable-esque, but very bog standard. We then say the same for Miguel. I think as a left back goes, he's kind of under the Bournemouth lad, but still up there. They've just kind of ruined him with that long ball throw. They really knew what they were doing. Defour, personally for me, I would say a miss. With the 89s, then they're not quite ready for the upgrade just yet. We're kind of getting into the 88s. We then have centre-back, yes, definitely into the Evo. He again could have gone into star power too, but I mean, you just don't really want to. Same as Bradley, we knew full well that he needed something extra from him. An Evo would do him absolute wonders. Centre-back for Inter Milan would be the exact same for me as well. And then we've got the final two, to be honest. It doesn't really matter about the goalkeeper, and I'd really just miss out on that left mid. I think everybody has seen that left mid. We don't need her again. And goalkeepers at this point, you've kind of got your pick, to be honest. I just wouldn't really bother with them. So that's going to be the list for today. Let me know down below, who have you got? Any big players? Have we got any of them top ones yet?